year of 2020 was difficult for everyone. You didn't even have to have COVID in order for it to be considered a bad year. COVID, murder hornets, George Floyd, the whole world just collapsed. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about my OCD. And you might be thinking, well, what does 2020 have to do with OCD? Well, that's the year that I got diagnosed. After I got diagnosed, I started looking back more on my life to see the little signs that I didn't think were OCD, but now that I know what it is and how mine works, I know that that was my OCD. You might think that OCD is the compulsion to keep things neat and tidy all the time, and while that is sometimes the truth, it is not true for me. Let me just show you my room and my desk setup here. Yeah. OCD is more of the need to do a certain action in a certain way or else something bad could happen, or just you feel bad. For me, my primary issue with my OCD is that I have to tense up each part of my body an equal amount of times, or the other half of my body will feel left out, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't, but that's the best way I can describe it. Like if I do this with my hand, I have to do this with my other hand or it won't feel right. And now that I'm thinking about it, I have to do it with my feet too. And that's what I'm doing right now. I just did it with my feet. But there's a lot of other facets to my OCD that I didn't realize were OCD until I started looking back on it. We'll get to that in a bit. The way that OCD trigger first started was in, I believe, 4th grade. Sometimes in gym class, we would be taught dances to country songs, which isn't that just the most Texas thing you've ever heard? And I don't remember the name of the song that we learned this dance to, but I think it was called Wrapped Around Her Finger, I think. And part of the dance we had to learn was, I'll do it with my feet. Heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, stomp, stomp, heel, toe, stomp, stomp. At least that's what I think it was. And to me, it never felt right. It felt like I had to make it even on both sides. So I would obsessively be doing that during class, and I wouldn't be able to get any work done until it started to feel equal. And eventually I just kept doing it, and eventually it grew throughout my entire body. Like, as I was saying that, I accidentally tensed up my toes, so I had to tense up my other toes and then make them go up on both sides. That's the primary issue with my OCD. Everyone is different. But I remember when I was younger, I would always be told that when I'm crossing the street, I have to look left, right, then left again. And I was always angry, because how come I have to look left twice but not right twice? So I would look left twice and then right twice, and then I would continue. And even to this day, I still do that. I don't get why you have to do that. It's dumb and stupid. I eventually got therapy for OCD, and it helped a bit. The lady who therapied me, she was very nice. I don't remember her name, but if you're watching this, you cool. She made it very interactive, and she even got me these like little scalp rubber things. Another one of my tics was to take a piece of my hair, then kind of ball it up and just mess with it. And it got to a point where it was so bad that I would have bald spots on my head. So she gave that to me in hopes that it would help, and it did. And I don't do it anymore. Kind of. Like, sometimes I still do it, but then I'll realize I'm doing it, and I tell myself, stop it. And then I stop it. And the dumbest way that it stopped, mostly for good, was that I caught myself doing it, and I said, wait, just stop it. And it stopped. I had my family pay for thousands of dollars of therapy so I could learn how to stop, only for me to just go, wait, stop. And then it stopped. I haven't met a whole lot of other people who have OCD. I'll see people who say, oh, I have OCD, you gotta take your shoes off when you come inside. No, that's not what OCD is. It could be part of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have OCD. OCD only really affects about 1% to 2% of the population, so I don't really have anyone else I can talk to this about and have them relate to it or tell me their stories with it. I've been suffering with it my entire life without even noticing. I don't remember what made me find out what OCD was. I don't know if it was a video or if a doctor told me about it, like, do you have OCD? I don't remember. But it started when I began to do a weird facial tic, and my family thought that it was OCD, which it wasn't. I think it was more of a tic. I've had on again, off again tics for a while, and I do want to talk to a doctor about it because I do think that it might be Tourette's syndrome. I'm able to hold it down for the most part, but sometimes it just feels better to get it out, so that's why you've never seen me tic in my videos. But it was just this. And it got to the point where in 5th grade, one of my teachers noticed that I was doing it, and she emailed my mom like, hey, your kid is doing this face. Is she okay? Is she like, is she having a seizure and I just don't know? Is she making fun of someone? What's going on? And she just had to explain that my kid's fine, they're just kind of weird. So that's where I first remember OCD being brought up as a possible thing that I had, which ended up being right, but I don't think that was a part of it. Because I didn't think if I do that with my face, something bad is going to happen, or my arms aren't going to feel equal or something. OCD in itself is a very fickle thing. It doesn't make sense to people who don't understand it, which I guess is true for everything, but it makes less sense. Like, I can see something like a math problem that I don't understand, but I know that people can solve it because they're smarter than me. But I think for other people, when they see me doing an OCD thing, they don't understand why I do it at all. I mean, I don't understand why I do it. I know the reason, but I don't know why my brain thinks that way. It's affected me so much that for this last year in my art class, I had to make a self-portrait and I included my OCD in the painting. Actually, I think I have it. I really like the painting. It was made to be a representation of how I present to people versus how I see myself. And it's not super obvious from far away, but I put numbers around it. You can kind of see it. And that represented how I'm always counting and always thinking about how things need to be equal. And when someone in my class saw me and asked about it, I had to explain it to them. And during my explaining of it, I started OCDing. I had explained that if I have to do this on one hand, I have to do it on the other, and then I have to do it with all the rest of my fingers until it starts to feel equal. And I could just see the confusion on this poor girl's face, like, what the frick is wrong with this person? And I don't blame them. It's like that scene in South Park where Johnny Cochran was explaining like if Chewbacca doesn't live on Endor, then you must acquit. That's what it's like. It doesn't make sense to anyone. It doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know why I have to do it, but I have to do it. I don't like that I do it, but I can't stop. It's like an addiction. And here we have a wild Sharon, scavenging around for something. Actually, Mom, can you help with something?
What?
Can you explain the email that you got from my teacher about the facial that I was doing in like 5th grade?
She was like, hey, I've noticed that making I don't remember if I emailed her first or she emailed me. But she noticed that you were sitting there going, during class, like all the time. And I thought it was nice that she noticed and
like was asking
like
about
brought it to my attention. Like it made me feel like she was paying attention to my student, my child.
Okay, love you, bye. Merry Christmas.
Love you, bye. JK.
I have a rat for a mother, but I love her. This video is in no way intended to diagnose you. If any of what I said resonated with you at all, then definitely talk to a licensed medical professional and not a random 17-year-old non-binary person on the internet. But that is this video. I don't talk a whole lot about like my specific mental illnesses online, but I wanted to get this one out there because there's a lot of misconceptions and just wrong information out there about OCD. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.